couple days ago, a bus pass got all toilety. It did. A bus pass, it just got all toilety. That's right. It got plopped. I went into the library the other day. Now wait a second here. I've got something important I have to do. There. For some reason, my calendar was on April and it should have been on May. I thought I moved it to May, but it was on. Somebody moved it back to April. But a bus pass got all toilety on Wednesday because on Wednesday I went to the May Day thing in Cincinnati. Now the bus pass getting plopped has absolutely nothing to do with May Day itself. But it's just I happened to see it on the same day. Because in Cincinnati on May Day, which was 2 days ago, there was a big May Day march and rally. And Occupy Cincinnati was involved in it. And it drew about 2,000 people. According to crowd estimates, it drew about 2,000 people. Last year's only drew 80. And some of the Occupy people said it was actually slightly less than that. They actually thought it was closer to 60. But this year's drew 2,000. So that kind of pokes holes in the idea that Occupy is shrinking. But even the Inquirer did a story on it, so you know it must have been big. But anyway, a bus pass got toilety. It got plopped. Because before the May Day stuff, I stopped by the Cincinnati Public Library. I did. I went to the Cincinnati Public Library right before it. And I went into the restroom, and I noticed that somebody had plopped a bus pass. It was a bus pass for Metro. Somebody had plopped it. They put it in the toilet. They did. I went into the bathroom, and it was the furthest stall in the bathroom, and there was a bus pass floating in the bowl and staring up at me. So somebody lost their bus pass by dropping it in the toilet, unless they put it there on purpose, in which case it was a deliberate plopping. But in any event, the bus pass was all toilety, and therefore it was ruined. It was, or I assume it was, because it was coated with pee. And the entire stall was an absolute mess too. There was a damp, moldy sock sitting there, and there was like garbage strewn all around the stall. I mean, it was a mess. But best all, there was a. Remember the Hubba Bubba commercial where the voiceover guy says, "Best all." Remember that? He says, "Best all, you can blow amazing bubbles." Remember that? But anyway, best all, there was a bus pass in the toilet. And it was floating like a floater. But then, while I was in the process of using the toilet, it sank down to the bottom. It did. It sank down to the bottom of the drain. So I'm sure after that, even if it might have been salvageable before, which I doubt, I wouldn't even try it. But after that, it was certainly ruined. So somebody's Metro bus pass got plopped at the Cincinnati Public Library. But that was the same day as the May Day stuff. We had a big march in Cincinnati. We marched from like Washington Park down to City Hall and back. So it was cool. We had 2,000 people. 2,000 people showing up in Cincinnati of all places. That's the kind of stuff I thought you'd think of. That's the number you would think would show up in New York or somewhere. Instead, it happened in Cincinnati. Although I know last year Milwaukee had a really big May Day that drew like several. It might have been in the thousands then, but I don't know what they had this year. But anyway, I could go on the internet and probably look it up. But so But anyway, the Campbell County Library, the branch in Newport, the Newport branch of the Campbell County Library, you could just picture the Tea Party going into the library and plopping all the books and making the books all toilety because the Tea Party is suing the library. But the thing about all this is the Newport Library, the Campbell County Library branch in Newport, they outsmarted the Tea Party by making their bathrooms Tea Party proof, so you can't plop the books. Because instead of the bathroom being like back in the main the main areas of the library where all the books are and where all the shelves are, the bathrooms are in the front in like the foyer where you enter the library. The restrooms are off of where the foyer is, like in a church. but there's so you can't take the books, so it's impossible to take the books into the bathroom. See, they've made their bathrooms Tea Party proof to keep the Tea Party from plopping the books. So you have to take the books out the front, out into the front foyer to use the bathroom, and you can't do that because you have to walk right past the checkout counter. Most libraries aren't like that, but the Campbell County Library in Newport is. So, and also people can't go in there and sit on the pot for an hour with library books. That would have been useful back when I worked at the Cold Spring Library. I wish they had. It's a shame they didn't do that back then, because of the way that people were treating that library. So, let's see. May Day in Indianapolis. I went to the one in Cincinnati, but I'm wondering how many people showed up for Indianapolis, because for a while it looked like Indianapolis was going to be the closest one. But it doesn't say how many people went. It says 64 people signed up, but with Cincinnati, though, it wasn't even that many. On Facebook, let's see, 61 people signed up in Cincinnati, and we got 2,000. That's just 64 people signed up in Indianapolis, but I don't know how many Indianapolis had. So, I don't know how many Milwaukee had. Milwaukee had a big one last year for not being as big of a city. Milwaukee's only about as big as Cincinnati. You'd think it wouldn't have had as many, but they did last year. I don't know how many they had this year. So that's the story of the bus pass that got plopped and got all toilety and coated with toilet water and germs. So that's the story of the ruined bus pass.